Well, hey guys, I'm here with the Gotway EXN and I have it opened up doing some investigative repair work. Before I continue, let me show you this clip that'll show you what happened to this wheel and why I have it open right now. Okay, I don't know what. I assume that's the fan. Oh well. Oh, well, that doesn't sound good. All right, well, as you could see, when I was doing some trail riding, I fell off the wheel fell over, and immediately the sound started making this horrendous noise. And I got to listen to that noise for the next few hours on that ride. It never went away. I thought I might open it on the trails, but I just didn't get the chance. And the fan was working. It was just, so the wheel was nice and cool. So I just dealt with the noise. But now I have the wheel opened, and I'm going to show you what I found regarding the fan and why there's a likelihood that that will happen to you if you have an EXN, unless they make some further mods if your wheel falls over. And while I have it open, I thought I would, this is the first EXN that I've personally seen open, so I'm going to bring the camera in and I'm going to show you some what I've interesting observations, maybe a few nice things, but mostly bad things. So I need to preface what I'm about to go over with this wheel, and that is I have never defended Gotway's quality. Any of you who have followed me for a long time will know that for years, I can say at least 4 years, when I started to become vocal in the community, I've been complaining about the quality of the Gotway build. I've never been an apologist for Gotway. I think they make some pretty crappy wheels in terms of build quality. But they also make some incredible wheels. I think the most awesome wheels on the planet. That's why I continue to buy them. So I believe you can have these two disparate thoughts in your mind at the same time. One is they make crappy, the build quality of the wheels is crappy, yet the wheels are awesome in terms of what they do. We buy a wheel so that we can ride it, right? We can do amazing things with it. Well, the Gotway wheels, you can do some amazing things with them. And that's why you're going to see all the best riders in the planet doing some of the most radical stuff. They all have at least one Gotway wheel in their quiver. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish they built fantastic wheels in terms of the build quality. I hope there would be more competition at the Gotway level. Right now, all we have is the Sherman from Veteran, and they're a one pony show right now. I think that's the expression, one trick pony or something like that. They have only one wheel. We can only hope that they're going to have more wheels in the future. And the Sherman is a great wheel, and by the way, it has a strong. Still has a strong influence on the Gotway DNA. If you were to blindfold someone and they didn't know the history and you showed them the inside of a Sherman, they'd say, oh, that's a Gotway wheel. But they clearly make a great wheel. But it's only one wheel. Gotway makes amazing wheels from a 10-inch wheel up to a 24-inch wheel. They have a deep lineup. So we need more wheels from Veteran. And if Veteran comes out with a strong lineup and Gotway doesn't change their game, I'm fully okay with never buying another Gotway wheel. I'll fully switch over to a Veteran. But I think that's gonna take a while, and maybe Gotway will survive. Maybe they'll have, with some true competition, they'll start upping their game. Okay, so with that all being said, let me pull in the camera and show you some details inside of this EXN. Now I'm shooting this video in 4K resolution, so you should be able to see the details inside this wheel. This has 240 miles on it. I've put about 75 miles of those on, and about half of those have been on dirt trails. And it's definitely a bit disappointing to see the amount of dirt infiltration into the wheel. I mean, that's not dust, that's dirt from the sandy trails. Here's this just came when I removed the pedal rod. This was inside there, but it's the same kind of dirt. I can't see where it's actually entering the shell, but since it's really heavy down here, it has to be through the side panel area. It just must not be a good enough seal, clearly. But it's not just here. There's the dirt particles up here, all on this battery. There's dirt. A little bit of dirt particles on the sound module board. But above here, I don't see any evidence of dirt. I see dust. So the whole look of the wheel inside is kind of has a grungy look to it right now. I mean, Gotway's made some really good wheels in the past, which stayed really clean inside after, thousands of miles. Not with this wheel, that's for sure. So if you're going to own this wheel, or if you do own this wheel, it probably behooves you to open it up after every few hundred miles and blow the dust out, vacuum it up, and clean it out. And I imagine the same is on the other side. I'm more worried about how the electronics control board gets messed up with the dirt. I don't worry too much about the battery per se, because the batteries are sealed. Here are your two speakers, and they are not exposed to the outside like some of the other Gotway wheels. They are exposed to the inside of the tire like some other Gotway wheels. To be honest, it's just probably not an issue at this point. These modules definitely look more enclosed. Doesn't look like much water would be able to get out from here into the wheel, and they use these speakers with a rubber membrane, so I suspect they'll probably last quite a while. Let me point you, I'm going to zoom in down here so you can look at the beeper, which I think is pretty cool. Now I have my light focused on the inside of the beeper. So they've moved to a new beeper, and I don't know if this is on any of their other wheels, but it's definitely a big improvement. It's a rubber membrane, and it's facing the inside of the wheel, which means it's exposed to the outside. And you can see there's some dirt particles in there. And let me sound the alarm, and you'll see. You can see them bouncing away in there. So this beeper on this wheel is incredibly loud, and I gotta believe you could hear it if you're going 50 miles per hour. Maybe that's why they put on this wheel, because this is supposed to be maybe their fastest wheel they've made yet. Finally, let's look at this is just so typical Gotway. They have they just don't believe in true wiring harnesses. Wires are every which way. They just firmly believe in gooping everything instead of using proper connectors that don't require goop. The power wires going to the motor, which can get very hot, are laying across one of the capacitors. They're not touching, but it wouldn't surprise me when I put the cover on this that it doesn't take very much downward pressure for these to be touching that capacitor. Look at this capacitor. It's kind of been mushed over, pressed to the side. The wires are twisted. The leads are kind of twisted, so there's tension on there. These capacitors are crooked. The Bluetooth board is a little crooked. You know, everything about the Gotway wheel board, control board, they always look like this. They just look like someone wired it up in their garage, that someone with no industrial experience. Yet Gotway has been building wheels for probably 7 years at least, and it's like they haven't learned it. They barely learned anything in 7 years. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get a hold of a really old Gotway wheel and open up for kicks. I bet it looks very similar to this. Now let's talk about the fan failure. What's going on here? Well, the fan is level, essentially level with the top of these components, and when the side cover is on, it's got to essentially be touching this. And when the wheel fell over, of course I don't know because I didn't look inside this before this happened, but it sure looks like this fin was kind of damaged by the force of the impact. And then I clearly the side also pressed in on the fan, and the fan blades hit. Now if I turn on the wheel, it does a little test spin of the fan and you don't hear anything. I'm going to do it again and apply a little pressure as if the shell is attached. So you can see that's what was causing the noise. Now you probably can't see it, but when you look down here, I can see evidence of mill marks. Clearly they have the heatsink milled a recess so that this fan sits lower. So Gotway knows that this is an issue. So typical Gotway, they do a half-ass fix. They partially mill out so they can recess the fan, but they know that it's marginal, that the shell side of the panel is essentially touching this, and any big impact is going to damage or break this fan. So typical Gotway. They can't just do a proper design. So what I'm going to do to fix this particular wheel, since I believe when I put the side panel on, it'll be a roll of the dice whether this is going to be making noise, which will obviously prematurely wear out this fan. I'm going to take a Dremel and I'm going to cut this section away, which should free up the blade, and then it won't hit, and I don't think it'll affect structurally the fan. So let's do that now. Okay, you can see my handiwork, and it helps substantially, but if I still apply some pressure here, it still hits a little bit here. So what I've decided to do is add a bit of, just a little thin piece, this is about 1.5 mil thick piece of cardboard. Just double stick tape it there, and I think that's going to provide just enough elevation above this fan, and I don't think it'll hit. I'll find out. I'll be writing it quite a bit more, but that's my ghetto fix. And by the way, I saw one of these fins here. This one broke. Maybe one that originally hit. I don't know. I want to look inside, see if I can find that missing piece. Other than that, it works. Still works. As I put this side panel on, I now think I realize where all the dirt's coming in, and it's just based on this side panel design. It might look cool, but I think it's a poor design. The side panel is actually recessed into the shell, so you can see here there's these gaps, right? I mean, you can see right here, and it's not like it's a friction fit, so I'm sure there's gaps in there. So any dirt that gets kicked up, if you ride on trails, it's just going to fall right into these areas all around here on the bottom, particularly in the corners. And that's it. I think a better design on their point of view would have been a panel that overlapped the shell. That's at some level, not recessed into it. All right, there you have it. It's all back together. I vacuumed it out inside, no more dust. Good for another few 100 miles, I guess. And I don't think the fan's going to be causing me any more problems. Unfortunate, but looks like Gotway is still living up to their reputation of building producing the crappiest built EUCs in the market. But damn, do they make good wheels. So I mean, I love this EXN. I'm gonna be buying either an EXN or an EX. I still need to put some miles on the EX, but although the build quality is crap, this is an incredible riding wheel. Massive tire, massive wheel, yet very agile with the torque that gives you that elevator effect when climbing hills, meaning you lean a little bit and it just feels like it pulls you up like an elevator, pulls you up the hill. You don't have to lean into it much at all. Oh wow, what am I gonna do? All right, guys, hope this was helpful, and I hope I didn't turn you off too much to buying a Gotway wheel, but it is what it is. Talk to you later.